It's very good to see so many people here. See graduates and undergraduates from St Anne's, from beyond the university, many people from the Wellcome Trust Centre for Human Genetics, alumni, friends of St Anne's, people who've just heard about us and have come along to listen. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Because, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tim Gardam, I'm the principal of St Anne's, and this afternoon marks the beginning of what we hope will be a very significant development for the college. So let me start there. The Centre for Personalised Medicine is really a statement of the college's strategy to identify where we can best support the core challenges facing Oxford. And in short, I think you can say that that key challenge is to secure Oxford's place as one of the top-ranked universities in the world. Because as we all know, Oxford, despite being far less well-funded than our American counterparts, still, and we've seen it again this year, still ranked second in the world, alongside Harvard, in the Times Higher Educational rankings. Oxford is meeting that enormous challenge of the competitive globalization in higher education and academic research. And Oxford Medical Sciences is the absolute cornerstone of this university's 21st century competitiveness. Our medical sciences are ranked first in the world for the third year running, once again ahead of Harvard. Now, when you consider such a vast terrain, it's difficult perhaps to imagine how one Oxford college can contribute anything very much. However, if you believe that Oxford's college system is inherent to its identity, then it surely must be an imperative to work out how colleges can be one competitive point of difference that adds something to this university in the way that rival universities can't do. Colleges, it seems to me, will only retain their relevance in the university if they can demonstrate that they clearly contribute to the ability of Oxford to attract the best minds in the world, from the most eminent and senior professors down to the undergraduate students. And in particular, I would add, how they can add value to the lives of the doctoral students and the postdocs, who are the lifeblood of academic research. For it is their careers that will over time determine this university's future competitiveness and its reputation. So St Anne's set out to identify one or two areas where, working closely with the university and its divisions, with its departments and its faculties, we can offer St Anne's as a partner to help secure Oxford's world academic preeminence. I suppose it's a bit of a cliche to describe an Oxford college as an interdisciplinary community, though, as with all cliches, there's a lot of truth in it. But modern academic research inexorably pulls apart old established disciplinary dividing lines. And academics in all disciplines talk about how research in their discipline inevitably propels them towards the boundaries of others. And so, the role of an Oxford college, to my mind, must not only be to intertwine research and teaching, the undergraduate and the graduate experience, but to create defined points of intersection that have a recognised value to research academics in the forefront of their fields. Colleges should be the place where an intersection of perspectives adds value to each one. And this is the background to the establishment of the Centre for Personalised Medicine here. It goes without saying that a college could not in itself be a credible proponent of such an ambition. So let me tell you briefly how this has come about. A year or so ago, we held a series of lunches with the fellowship exploring these sorts of ideas. One of our fellows, Dr. Tim Lancaster, who's the Director of Clinical Studies at the medical school, couldn't make the lunch, but came round later to see me for a cup of coffee. He said, "You know, you should think about personalised medicine. It will redefine how we teach doctors to relate to patients in the future. But there's nowhere exactly in Oxford that bring these ideas together." That evening, there was a guest night in college, and Professor Peter Donnelly, Director of the Wellcome Trust Centre for Human Genetics, who is also a St Anne's Professorial Fellow, had as his guest Professor Alistair Buchan, Dean of the Oxford Medical School. I then completely incoherently describe my conversation with Tim Lancaster, because I should make it quite clear at this stage that my ignorance in this field is as deep as it is wide. But Alistair, who has been the most visionary of the heads of division in identifying how colleges can reimagine themselves to contribute to 21st century Oxford, Alistair got the point. And after all, we at St Anne's had the enormous good fortune as a college to have Peter Donnelly here as a professorial fellow. Peter thought about the idea for a time, about how a college link of this kind to the Wellcome Trust Centre might work, and then he got behind the idea with an alarming energy and focus. This has made it real, and this afternoon is the first opportunity to show that it is real. There are others in particular I'd like to thank. Obviously, without the Wellcome Trust Centre for Human Genetics, this would not be possible in any way. It is of tremendous value to St Anne's reputation to have such a link, and an indirect link in this way to the Wellcome Trust. And I'm delighted there are two members of the Trust Board here today. Dr. Chris Spencer, a Career Development Fellow at the Wellcome Trust Centre, has helped to create our steering committee, along with Dr. Gabe DeLuca from the Department of Clinical Neurology at the John Radcliffe, and Dr. Francis Selle, our Fellow in Medical Sciences here at St Anne's, and Dr. David Harris, our Vice Principal and Fellow in Biochemistry. We have created, as we've gone along, a steering committee, and we've been very fortunate indeed to discover Dr. Ingrid Slade, who's been appointed our first director. And we've recruited Dr. Claire Cockcroft from the Brabraham Centre at Cambridge as the Centre's programme coordinator, and we're ready to go. And Chris, Ingrid and Gabe will lead the second seminar today. In particular, can I also thank Dame Mary Archer, an alumna and honorary fellow of St Anne's, who was, as you will know, for 10 years chair of the Cambridge University Hospital's NHS Foundation Trust at Addenbrooke's. She has agreed to chair the Centre's External Advisory Board, and we're putting together a distinguished board because the Centre will set out to connect the worlds of academic research and the world of healthcare beyond the university. And so we're deeply grateful to another St Anne's alumnus, also a member of the advisory board, Richard Girling. Richard read biochemistry here. He is now one of the foremost figures in world healthcare investment banking, a senior partner at Centerview. He has been instrumental in some of the biggest decisions taken by the global pharmaceutical giants, and immediately he saw the purpose and potential for this centre. His generosity to the college and his support for this venture has also made it possible. The proof of the centre's success will not just be the way it can help knit together the connections between science and medical practice and public policy in Oxford and in the United Kingdom, but it aims also to offer a global perspective. And we have been extraordinarily fortunate to be the beneficiaries of an extremely generous donation from Mr. Patrick Hun, Director of the Dr. Stanley Ho Medical Development Foundation in Macau. He's also closely involved in the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And his founding donation provides us with the core funding for the centre for its first 5 years. And we look forward to building a close relationship with Mr. Hun and his foundation and with the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So, thank you all for being here. In future months, the Centre will roll out its programme of events and its ideas, and it's very important to stress that though this is a partnership between the Wellcome Trust Centre and St Anne's, it is for all in the university. And wherever events take place, we hope they will interlink those of different scientific, academic and clinical backgrounds, the worlds of the laboratory, healthcare, the pharmaceutical industries, the law and public policy, working closely with other related research centres in Oxford, in a field that will define the future of human health and well-being in the 21st century. And now we're ready to begin, and I'd like to hand you over to Professor Peter Donnelly, FRS, Director of the Wellcome Trust Centre for Human Genetics. Peter.